Hi, Assalamualaikum. I'm Nurul Afiqah binti ZAINUDDIN, matric number 1213163. I'm gonna explain about cultivation theory. Cultivation theory or cultivation analysis was introduced in the 1960 by the Hungarian-born American professor George Gubner as a means to examine the influence of television on viewers. The findings of Gubner were later expanded upon and developed by the American screenwriter Larry Gross. This theory implies that those exposed to media interpret social realities according to how such realities are portrayed in the media. An example of cultivation theory is television's ability to stabilize and homogenize views within a society. Children who watch commercial TV have notably more stereotypical views of women and men than children who don't watch commercial TV. Next, firstly, cultivation theory holds the long-term exposure to media shapes how closer to television depiction the consumers of media perceive the world and conduct themselves. Second, the cultivation hypothesis states that the more television people watch, the more likely they are to hold a view of reality closer to television's depiction. Third, for many individuals, the distorted and partially reality portrayed on television represents what the world is really like. Fourth, Gubner also coined the term mean world syndrome to describe the cognitive bias whereby television viewers exposed to violent content were more likely to see the world as more dangerous than it actually is. Lastly, in more recent time, research have delved into other forms of media such as reality TV and video games to study the effects of cultivation theory.
5 concepts of cultivation theory. 1. Mainstreaming occur when television symbols dominate other sources of information and ideas about the world, especially for the heavier viewer. Heavy viewers tend to believe the mainstream realities that the world is a more dangerous place than it really is. For example, all politicians are corrupt, crime is at record high level, all poor families are on welfare. 2. Resonance occur when things on television are congruent with viewers' actual everyday realities. In other words, people's objective external reality resonates with that of television. For example, some urban dwellers may see the violent world of television resonated in their deteriorating neighborhood. 3. First-order effects refer to the learning of facts from the media. For example, how many employed males are involved in law enforcement or what proportion of marriage end in divorce. 4. Second-order effects refer to learning values and assumptions from the media. For example, questions like, do you think people are basically honest? Are aimed at this second-order effect. 5. Mean World Index consists of a series of 3 statements. First, most people are just looking out for themselves. Second, you can't be too careful in dealing with people. Third, most people would take advantage of you if they got the chance. The study showed that the heavy viewers were much more likely to see the world as a mean place than were light viewers. Mean world syndrome, the perception based on media violence that the world is a dangerous and unforgiving place. For evaluation theory, firstly, the apparent relationship between television and the fear of violence might be misleading, especially given the possibility that a third factor might be causing both phenomena. Secondly, the theory utility due to its ignoring of cognitive process like rational thinking. Lastly, individuals' life experience are more responsible for their perception of the world in cultivation effect. Application of this theory in today's life. Until now, television still shows the reality of the outside world, which can have an impact on its viewers, especially children. For example, television shows a scene of kidnapping to influence their minds that the outside world is scary. The advantage of this theory is society must be more careful with what is shown on television so they are not influenced. This is because television tends to give us a few negative impact on our minds. Secondly, the influence of television is limited. Cultivation theories state that television's effects are limited. This may sound strange given the fact that television is so pervasive, yet the observable, measurable, and independent contribution of television to the culture are relatively small. Gubner used an ice age analogy to distance cultivation theory from limited effect. The disadvantage of the theory is television shapes our society's way of thinking and relating. Based on this assumption, cultivation theory supplies an alternative way of thinking about TV violence. The theory does not speak to what we will do based on watching violent television. Instead, it assumes that watching violent TV makes us feel afraid because it cultivates within us the image of a mean and dangerous world. Secondly, the viewing of this content has been discovered to be connected to more permissive sexual attitudes and give in extra sexual behavior. Conclusion: this theory cultivation explains how repeated exposure to prominent themes in the symbolic world of mass media causes people to overestimate the probability and potency of those themes in the psychosocial worlds of the self and significant others.